broadcast. Hit the like button, subscribe. For the intelligent, black men is relevant. Why ask questions when you know the answer? So we bypass outlast channels, no gossip. We about that life. Tune in, subscribe, hop in the broadcast, stay current. Dennis Berlin podcast, vibe with it. On the couch, leaving your house so you can ride with it. Voice of black excellence with no frontin'. In the space we speak how we feel. The blizzard's coming.
Even your dumbass ex-president said it. You know, you have black president that seem more white than black sometimes. He said it when he was a presidential candidate. Barack Obama said to the NAACP, we have more work to do. We have more work to do. We got more black men languishing in prison than attending colleges and universities.
This is where captives were once imprisoned before being auctioned. Where across an ocean so much of the African American experience began. We went down into the dungeons where the captives were held. There was a church above one of the dungeons, which tells you something about saying one thing and doing another.
No.
Wake up every day, nothing falling inside my hands. Gotta get up off my ass and go get it. See, that's the plan. Our women don't get it, us living inside the skin. You the only race of women love talking bad about your men. Yeah. What about your sons? What about them? Gender switching. Turn them to your husband, get mad when your friends get it.
No, he's not up there yet. He hasn't made his final decisions yet. Don't cut his neck off Dwayne Wade, bruh. You fucking tripping, dawg.
He ain't lying.
Terrorize the neighborhood. Police hit him. Yeah. When he go to jail, call daddy to come and get him. And quick to call us food. But you pick him. Yeah. Now you at the school with the students, your babysitting.
He was 13 at the time. In June, right before school was out, the teen says Bolden picked him up and they had sex in a Brown Deer park. In late June for his 14th birthday, the victim says Bolden bought him a gun, something prosecutors say they were able to trace and confirm. The boy told investigators the relationship with the teacher ended in late July when Bolden refused to buy him another gun.
Same bitch screaming about brother, she baby picking. Yeah. Facing 40 years, hope they bury your ass in prison. Oh, you don't wanna listen. Unless it's Brad that's whipping up on that ass, now black men don't defend him. Can't win for losing, so we out, keep you cooning. We overseas cruising, not acting that bitch is stupid.
He is not free. Pros are rented, girlfriends are leased, and wives are financed. We are operating in a monetized marketplace, unlikely to change anytime soon. 100%. It's not going to change. It ain't changing, bro. Now, you can decide which resource you're going to use. I would be out here telling you, if you're using zero resources, good luck. You're volunteering to make yourself frustrated or put yourself out of the marketplace. If you're using time, don't go over there and criticize the money tricks. You're one of the same. And not only that, women see you as one and the same. So that's what matters.
I'm an independent chicken. Got all of my bastards with me. Ghetto smart, superstitious, keep nothing but goofies with me. Strong black, codependent for the streets. Know it's in me. EBT, my groceries dipping. Ain't eating no man. They call my independent ratchet chicken. Got all of my bastards with me. Ghetto smart, superstitious, keep nothing but goofies with me. Strong black, codependent for the streets. Know it's in me. EBT, my groceries dipping. Ain't eating no man to get it. This is the good Reverend Uncle D. Coming from the good book of salty balls. And black men who passport out of America larger than Lizzo's draws. Hallelujah.
What you want me to do? Apologize again?
Yeah, nigga, I want you to apologize. I want you to get on your fucking knees. Need to be begging for forgiveness all the shit you done put us through.
You asked for it, got it, baby. Plantation yours, too woke for playing Space Invaders. Pre-order gators, it's about to rain. My lizard's running. Insurance all paid up. I heard the blizzard's coming. Jail cells ain't packed the way they used to. All the pox got out, even the juice crew. Daddy home, but baby not like we used to. The women foreign, the cars foreign like Deuce Boo. See the Prada don't match me in a zoo suit. My Dominican mommy, she give me goose. As neck turtle, no makeup, nothing to make up. No Duncan Hines or doctors, yeah, she caked up. When you woke, see this is called a wake up. No designer, no Aunt your mama or Jacob. This original wear she gotta take up. Now get your shit together or face Satan. We call him Satan. I'm an independent ratchet chicken. Got all of my bastards with me. Ghetto smart, superstitious. Keep nothing but goofies with me. Strong black, codependent for the streets. Know it's in me. EBT, my groceries dipping. Ain't eating no mayonnaise. I'm an independent ratchet chicken. Got all of my bastards with me. Ghetto smart, superstitious. Keep nothing but goofies with me. Strong black, codependent for the streets. Know it's in me. EBT, my groceries dipping. Ain't eating no mayonnaise.
I'm like the nigga when the superstar just get hot. I'm like the nigga that just got out of jail. Does your nigga anybody run up? I'm knocking their ass down, homie. Whatever. That's me standing over there to the right. Just eyeball him up. Mean mugging in the club, popping champagne, bitches smiling and shit. I'm just sitting there like, what? Because I got to prove my worthiness. Let me do what I do, man. I tear these motherfuckers up. No, Dennis. It's good. Don't worry about them. The best success is to get rich, blah, blah, blah. Y'all heard that shit. You know who he is. Y'all know he wasn't that type of person. He wasn't confrontational. Me, on the other hand, I got it. I'm here for it. But nevertheless, I held back because out of respect, that's what he wanted me to do. But now, fellas, he's dead. And there's nobody out there that I respect enough in these YouTube streets. It's going to keep me from wearing you motherfuckers out.
Oh, fuck all of that. I'm putting all you bitches on notice right now.
Brother Spurley. Brother Spurley met his fiance in my mixed group, and she was doing her thing, Ivy League educated, beautiful sister. He's a successful attorney. Now he's like, shh, that's my wife. I'm gonna put her through law school, and she's gonna become an attorney at my practice. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. I want to call you back to the sister that called into my show who said, when I first listened to you, I didn't like you.
Yeah. Welcome to the broadcast. Fellas. I'm gonna put a little mood music on for this one. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to all my people in the chat room. I want the wrench mob to make some noise. All my guys in the wrench mob, go ahead and let your wrenches fly. Shout out to all my dudes, all the ladies out here hanging out with Uncle D. Got my mood music playing, man. I got my guys. I got Glow Hardy up in here. Big shout out to Mark the Freelancer. Shout out to Guillermo Williams. Go ahead and turn the membership only on. Only the members are going to be allowed to comment on this this conversation. If you haven't become a member yet, you late to the party. So go ahead and hold on a minute. Let me see here. All right, members only. Become a member if you want to comment. Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is going to be an interesting one because, I mean, you know, I support the brothers. I always do my very best to represent the brothers, but, well, sometimes you just got to call a spade, and you got to call a freak. Okay? You got to call a weirdo. We got a lot of freaks and weirdos in Hollywood. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. Shout out to my man Black in the Day. Shout out to Guillermo Williams. Somebody type Holly Weird in the chat room. Somebody type Holly Weird in the chat room. Okay? Now, as I said earlier, I defend the brothers all the time, man. I got your back, but at some point, we got to call a spade. And today, I want to talk to you all about a principle as old as time itself. It's one that I discuss heavily in my books, Rules to Live By. You can get these on Amazon. I got about 8 copies left. You want to get, I got 8 copies left of the set. And this principle that I'm talking about is that the law of consequences, okay? A law written into the very fabric of the universe. It is this, and that is sin invites destruction. Somebody type sin invites destruction. It's an unavoidable truth, a fundamental law that governs not just nature, but our own lives and choices. And no story in history illustrates this principle more profoundly than the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were once thriving. They were full of wealth and abundant with resources, yet they're remembered not for their prosperity, but for their complete and utter destruction. Why? Because the people there turned away from morality, from righteousness, and they gave in to their basest desires, glorifying wickedness instead of goodness. Now, they thought they were untouchable and their actions would have no consequences. But the story is clear. Sin invites destruction. Sodom and Gomorrah were consumed by fire and reduced to ashes, not just because of the acts committed within their walls, but because they lived in open defiance of natural laws set by God and the universe. Okay? I'm gonna need 20 super chats, by the way, so y'all go ahead and get it cracking. You're about to get a philosophical level of understanding of life tonight. For every action, there's consequences. And again, tonight we're going to understand
that sin invites destruction. And here's the thing. When you ignore the warning signs, believing, okay, that you can live on forever without these consequences and keep doing what you're doing, no matter if you're a billionaire or a trillionaire, you're making a fatally incorrect mistake. See, this story isn't just about two ancient cities. It's a mirror for us. Somebody type us in the chat room. Where my members at? All my members make some noise. Somebody type us in the chat room. We're gonna get this membership up. You're not gonna hate on Uncle D for free. If you want to comment, you want to say something mean and nasty, go right on ahead. Matter of fact, in a minute, I'm gonna turn off these Facebook posts. So unless you're on YouTube, you're not gonna be able to comment. You understand? So y'all go ahead and migrate on over here to YouTube. Somebody type us in the chat room. Okay? Shout out to my man Mark the Freelancer. Yeah, y'all go ahead and gift these people these memberships. Let's get these memberships up. See, we live under universal laws. And whether we acknowledge them or not, these laws are always at work. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, if you're a Christian, if you are an atheist, whatever it is, whatever your religion is or non-religion is, these principles apply. And these holy books are simply trying to explain to mankind the laws of the universe, whether you want to call it God, whatever you want to call it. And when we're talking about sin, that's basically immorality. You have to understand that it invites destruction. And it plays out in our lives through our choices. And see, we might not see fire raining from the sky, but the consequences are no less real. They show up in the form of broken relationships, financial ruin, mental turmoil, spiritual decay, prison time. And I want you to think about it. When we live with greed, we destroy our ability to be content. When we live with hatred, we destroy our capacity for love and compassion. When we live with dishonesty, we destroy trust, both in ourselves and others. When we live with indulgence and harmful habits, we destroy our health, our minds, and eventually our souls. Each of these actions pulls us further away from peace of mind, prosperity, and joy. And that only comes back when we align ourselves with righteousness. Now, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, we invite our own destruction when we live in sin. And it may take many forms. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be spiritual. And there's no escaping the reality that our choices have. You're going to deal with these consequences, whether we believe in a higher power or not, whether we follow a specific faith or not. These laws of the universe are undeniable, and you can see it in your own life. If you continuously make decisions rooted in selfishness, deceit, pride, it might feel good for a moment, but eventually those choices catch up with you. We've all heard the saying, you reap what you sow. Somebody type that in the chat room. You reap what you sow. And that's exactly what the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah teaches us. If you sow seeds of sin, you can only expect a harvest of pain, regret, and loss. But here's the good news. In the inverse of this law is also true. Just as sin invites destruction, righteousness invites abundance. And when we make choices rooted in love, truth, kindness, and discipline, we invite blessings into our lives. Look here, family. When we live with integrity, we invite trust and respect from others. When we live with generosity, we invite prosperity and joy. When we live with humility, we invite wisdom and growth. Now, I'm not saying that living righteously means life will always be easy or free of hardship. That's not what I'm saying. Don't get that twisted. But I am saying that the rewards of living in alignment with these universal principles far outweigh the temporary satisfaction of sinful choices. So, what's the lesson here? It's simple, but it's not easy. We must be vigilant with our choices. We live in a world that glorifies instant gratification, materialism, and self-centeredness, don't we? Somebody type yes, we do in the chat room. Somebody type yes, we do in the chat room. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we can do whatever we want, whenever we want to, and somehow escape the consequences. See, what you do in the dark will eventually come into the light, because whether it's done in the dark or the light, the actions are weighed by the universe. And just like Sodom and Gomorrah, these cities that thought that they were above, or the patrons, the people there, who thought they were above consequences, they suffered. Each day, family, each day we're given opportunities to choose, and to choose between right and wrong, between discipline and indulgence, between righteousness and sin. And each of those choices, no matter how small they seem in the moment, builds the trajectory of our lives. Just like you start off lying, next thing you're stealing, next thing you're killing. You're setting a trajectory. Most men that are in prison, women also, they didn't start off as murderers. They started off doing other stuff, stealing cars, selling dope, being stick-up kids. That's the trajectory. So I'm gonna ask you fellas, what kind of life are you building? If you want to avoid destruction, you must reject sin. If we want to invite peace of mind and happiness and prosperity and fulfillment, we must align ourselves with righteousness, because in the end, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah isn't just an ancient tale. It's a timeless reminder that our actions have weight and our choices have power, and the law of the universe cannot be ignored. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah teaches us that no matter how powerful, how wealthy, or influential somebody may become, they're not above moral laws of the universe. And it's only a matter of time when those moral laws that you are violating, or the man-made laws, catch up with you for the moral laws that you're violating. And so when we talk about inviting sin and destruction, we seeing this play out right now, aren't we? Somebody type ain't we in the chat room. Come on. Where my membership at? I need 20 super chats. Aren't we seeing this play out right now? Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. We're seeing this play out right now with the recent allegations and arrest of Sean P. the Diddler Combs. And this is a stark reminder of the principles in action. Now, you all know that Sean Combs built an empire. This man is nearly worth $1 billion. He achieved success and fame and that most people could only dream of. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. Where my members at? We need to get these memberships up. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. He's being accused. The accusations surrounding him, these allegations of sexual misconduct and exploitation and abuse of power, they're threatening not only to bring him down, but his entire empire and everybody associated with him. Somebody type, you got to tell Diddy no. Somebody type, you got to tell Diddy no. Like the people of Sodom and Gomorrah who believed that their wealth and status made them untouchable, Sean, the Diddler, Combs, operated under the assumption that he could indulge in a harmful and immoral behavior without facing any consequences. Somebody type 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Somebody type baby oil in the chat room. Somebody type baby oil in the chat room. Talk about he got it from Costco. Costco say, we don't sell baby oil, sir. Costco said no. Sean Combs thought his fame and his wealth gave him a sense of invincibility and a belief that he could control the narrative and escape accountability. But as the universal laws teach us, sin always invites destruction. And we see it playing out right now in his life. The choices he made. And if proven true, they reflect a pattern of behavior that aligns with self-indulgence, exploitation, and the disregard for the well-being of others. And these actions, regardless of how well they may have been concealed all these years or tolerated by those around him, they've led him to this moment of reckoning. And no amount of fame and no level of success can shield him or anyone else from the consequences of living in sin. When people consistently make choices that harm others and violate moral principles, they set the stage for their own downfall. And in the case of Sean Combs, the alleged actions have not only led to legal trouble, but also have tarnished his legacy. And it's going to eclipse anything that he ever did. And this destructive pattern that we see in cases like this, look, sin breeds secrecy, secrecy breeds exploitation, and ultimately exploitation leads to ruin. It's the law that applies to all of us. And no matter how high we rise or how insulated we think we are from the consequences of our actions, it still will catch up to you. See, the lessons from Sodom and Gomorrah are clear. Unchecked sin invites self-destruction. The higher you rise without accountability, the harder you fall. Sean Combs, like many before him, now face the reality that no one can live in a life of excess and sin without eventually facing the consequences, both legally and morally. And in light of this, we must reflect on the importance of living a life rooted in righteousness and accountability. Listen, somebody type righteousness in the chat room. Somebody type accountability in the chat room. It's a lesson that applies not just to celebrities, but to all of us. And whether our personal lives or professional lives or relationships or choices have lasting consequences. And the path of self-indulgence and exploitation may seem tempting in the moment, but it always leads to ruin. It leads to ruin in the end. And what you learn, what you're seeing right now, what you're seeing happen to Sean Combs, unfolding right before your eyes, is the age of truth. Again, sin invites destruction. No one, no matter what their status is immune to it. Now, that being the case, let's have a conversation. So, where my passport bros at? Talk to me, because I'm going to bring this home. I'm going to hurt some feelings tonight. I want y'all to know that I'm going to hurt some feelings tonight, okay? I'm going to hurt some feelings tonight. Now, as you all know, Uncle D is one of the original Passport Bros. OG, triple OG, new age Passport Bros. And I would go down to the DR. Man, I had a villa. And by the time I got there, I would have 4 or 5 women waiting for me. One of them would just show up. I would call mine up. I wasn't hunting no women down, okay? Uncle D had to hook up. And so I had all these beautiful women. And I would go there every 2 weeks. And I did that for several years. And I realized that at some point, this would catch up with me. I was drinking about 2 or 3 bottles of champagne a day. Somebody type a day in the chat room. 2 or 3 bottles of champagne, that rosé, a day. Okay, I was eating bad. I was hanging out with women, couldn't count them on 2 hands. You understand me? Up all night partying. Probably had a yacht party every week. Okay. So what I'm trying to explain to y'all is Uncle D was doing a lot. You understand me? Uncle D was out there bad. And I realized, family, that this is not sustainable. Not that I was going to run out of money because, Uncle D is good. I got that paper. Okay. But I had to begin to call myself back in, if that makes sense. I had to tell myself that this is not sustainable, sir. This is too much like a dream. And when you start realizing, when your life starts feeling like a dream, that means you're going to die soon, okay? Either a spiritual death or a real life death. And I'm talking to y'all as real as I can and as honest as I can. I'm speaking to you all in a language in which you can understand. Now, I am a family man. I have children. I was married at some point, but I went through a situation where, not even a situation, I went through a time period where I'm like, well, I'm gonna just see what my money can do for me. I'm gonna just let the money take me as far as I want to go. You understand what I'm saying? And so I understand how easy, and I'm far from a billionaire, but I understand how easy it is to get caught up in a lifestyle of debauchery and sin. Okay? I'm telling you, I know how easy it is to get caught up in a life of debauchery and sin. It's not a difficult thing to do. You could be P. Diddy. See, you could be like Uncle D. Somebody type Uncle D is a legend in the chat room. Okay, y'all, are y'all with me? Okay, you could get caught up just like Uncle D and think, oh man, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna live through this. But recognize that cavorting with all women, and you got all these women, and you drinking and having a good time, it feels good. It sounds good. It's an enjoyable time. But at the end of the day, this is not how you are supposed to live. This is overindulgence. It is debauchery. And yeah, it was fun at the time, right? Somebody hit the #1 button. Can y'all hear me clearly? Let me know if you can hear me. Maybe I should make this screen smaller so y'all can pay more attention to me. Here I am. Look, y'all look at Uncle D. Okay, y'all pay attention to Uncle D. Understand? And me having a yacht party was just a regular old Tuesday. You see? Me having 100 chicks in the villa by myself. That's what I want you to understand. Just me and them. That's just a regular old day of the week. And so when you have money, it's easy to get caught up. It's easy to get caught up with the money. It's easy just to be indulgent, but you got to recognize and I'm fortunate. I didn't have no loose babies. Okay. And but a lot of men go out bad. You see what's going on. You going down there, you hanging out with these loose women, and you think you're enjoying yourself and whatnot, and it's fun and all that, right? It's a good fun time. But that's not how you're supposed to live. Now, at least me, I had the sense enough to recognize when to cut it off, because I do not have an addictive personality. So for the most part, I'm always gonna get back to the money. Okay, I'm always gonna get back to my hustle, and my children kept me grounded, because the love that I have for my children transcends anything else. You understand? And so, you know, I at least I had that. Now, this is me at the villa, just in case y'all didn't believe Uncle D. You all see these videos, and you can go over to my Esquire Entertainment channel and check it out. But this was my real life. So when I'm not like the rest of these YouTubers. I know what these rich people are dealing with. I'm the one with the villa. I'm the one with that's the villa right there. You see what I mean? That's Uncle D with the villa. Y'all have seen me in that robe. You understand what I mean? I lived a life where, for the most part, everything was at my beck and call. The money, the women. But I can tell you that it does not bring. Somebody say you're a sinner. Yeah, yes, Uncle D, yes, very much so. That's Uncle D right there. Okay, that's Uncle D, definitely. And so I'm speaking to you all from a place of experience. I'm not talking to you all theoretically and hypothetically. I'm talking to you all, and I'm telling you how easy it is to get caught up in this lifestyle. Now, of course, the Diddler and these weirdos are something totally different. Okay, I like women. Only women, brown women at that. Okay, that's what I like. And the best thing about it, when I was hanging out and partying, it was overseas. You see, so I wasn't like these fellas. And for you guys who don't know, all of this video footage is from my cell phone. That's the other thing you got to understand. This is from my cell phone. This is not even video footage. This is low grade Uncle D cell phone footage. You understand? But you know, so I understand what I'm talking about. Now, you guys see how I'm living now. I got a wife, I got some kids. I would not trade my life right now, my wholesome, beautiful family life, to go back to that debauchery. Because I recognize that all that is gonna bring is destruction. It's gonna bring a bunch of. Eventually, they would have caught up with me. You understand? Eventually, they would have caught up with me. Eventually, one of them would have got pregnant, maybe 2 or 3. Okay, and they would have had me caught up. You see what I mean? And so what I did was I said no. After about 3 or 4 years of that, I said, man, I got to cut this out. I got to get back. I got rid of the villa. Stop hanging out. This is 2018, 2019, and 2020. So it's not really, relatively speaking, it's not really that far back ago. You understand? And you see all these women on here, just a dime a dozen. I could snap my fingers and get all that back. No problem. I could snap my fingers and go right back to living that lifestyle. No problem. But I recognize that sin invites destruction. And as a grown man, right? See a little orange cat? As a grown man, you have to recognize when to turn it off. You have to recognize that it's time to grow up. You have to recognize that sin invites destruction. Okay, family? I want you guys to listen to me. I'm not talking to you from a place of theory. I'm talking to you all from a place of understanding. Okay? I'm not like the rest of these YouTubers. I really live that life. I live the life of your favorite rapper. You understand? The life they pretend to live, that's the life that I really live. And I'm telling you that that you don't want to live that life. You don't want to be in that life too long. Yeah, I get it. All my passport bros. Shout out to the passport bros. Where my passport bros at? Shout out to all my passport bros. You can't keep going down there tricking and doing what you're doing. Eventually it's gonna catch up with you. It's fun, you enjoy it, but it's something that you gotta grow up and get out of. Some of us are just blowing off steam. Some of us need to get it out of our system. Some of us have had a lot of heartbreaks and heartaches. And so we go down to these places, Thailand, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Brazil, to just blow off some steam. And that's okay. But you have to understand that when you start putting yourself on a trajectory like that, then there's gonna be ramifications. And when you look at somebody like P. Diddy, man, this man has been doing this for decades. I did this for about 4 or 5 years. Okay, it kind of kept me occupied. For the most part, hanging out with these women kept me out of trouble. You see what I mean? Even though that was some trouble, I'm just saying. Are y'all with me? Is this boring? Let me know if you're boring. I know I'm just freestyling right here, but I'm trying to, make sure y'all, we having a man talk. And I don't see the super chats popping either. Y'all need to go, where my memberships at? Where all my members at? You can't live like that, man. That's not something you can do. When I look at people like P. Diddy and I look at some of the stuff that he was doing, it's like you're doing too much, man. You're doing too much, man. And then this dude, the more money you have, it seems like the freakier these dudes get. I'm so disappointed at Black Hollywood right now. I mean, we didn't have that reputation of being that weird and we weren't like that. You understand? But I mean, you got these Black Hollywood types, man. You don't know what these people are doing. And we used to look up to these people, man. Shout out to Guillermo Williams. Thank you so much. You're the first one to contribute a super chat. Golly. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Guillermo. I need 19 more super chats. But man to man, I'm your Uncle D. I love y'all. And I'm going to tell you, man, this is fun. I did that. You see Uncle D got that big blue Crip blue velour suit on, right? But yeah, man, I live that life, man. And I'm telling you, it's not something that you want to do. It's not something that's sustainable. You don't want to do that to yourself. Eventually it catches up to you. Okay? Now, here's the thing, fam. I love you guys, and I'm gonna talk to y'all, and I'm gonna always be honest with you guys. But there was a time when we all wanted to be like rappers, and we wanted to be like P. Diddy, and we wanted to be these stars, all these people you see on the thumbnails. Do any of y'all want to be any of them right now? Huh? And have to deal with the consequences? Sean Combs might go to jail for the next 30 or 40 years, and this man is 50-something years old. So that's basically a life sentence. He's going to go to jail for the rest of his life. This man has 4, 5, 6 kids. His kids are not going to see him. He's not going to grow up with it. His kids aren't going to grow up with him. And, back in the day, we all wanted to go to the Diddy party. Back in the day, we thought that was the place to be. Around about 1998, 2000, something, if you said, yeah, I'm going to a Diddy party, oh, wow. Now, aren't you glad you didn't go? Aren't you glad that you didn't get the invite in 2024? All of this man's acquaintances and all his friends, Leonardo DiCaprio, name them, name all the friends, golly, who else? Russell Simmons, Cuba Gooding, a bunch of comedians. All of them are having to suffer the consequences of being associated with the Diddler. And see, for your own personal lives, I want you to understand something, and I'm gonna break this concept down for you. When I say sin invites destruction, let's throw the religious terminology out there, out of here. What is a sin? Okay? When the Bible talks about a sin, it is a transgression against yourself, against somebody else, against humanity. It is a wrong. It is an immoral act. We could argue that killing an innocent animal is immoral or is a sin. Something as simple as working on the Sabbath. What does that mean? Why is working on a Sunday a sin? Why is that? It's because your body needs rest. And so the Most High said, we work and we toil. I want you to rest on Sunday to give that temple that houses your soul an opportunity to relax and restore itself. So by working on the Sabbath, and some say Saturday, some say Sunday, but the bottom line is one day of the week, even the Lord rested. Why is it a sin to work on Sunday? Because if you work on Sunday and you don't ever give your body a rest, you eventually destroy it. And so when you really start breaking down these biblical sins, they make sense. What happens when you have sex outside of marriage? Well, at some point, diseases get spread around. Here in Houston, we have one of the highest rates of STDs because there are a lot of people having sex with multiple people, and they're having sex outside of marriage. And so in return, they're getting a lot of diseases. There are also a lot of unwanted pregnancies, not just in Houston, but also in Black America. And so the Bible speaks against that and refers to it as a sin. So in a society where you have people who have lots of sex, there's going to be diseases. And if a person has a disease, that person is probably not going to be fit for marriage. And therefore you undermine the family. If a person has children outside of wedlock because they had sex with so many different people, you're going to have children that don't know who their fathers are. You're going to have children that go uncared for. You're going to have women that have children by men that aren't promised to take care of them. And so that also undermines the family structure because now another man has to be gracious enough to come along and take care of another man's child and expend his resources that he would otherwise put for his own child on another man's seed. You understand? And so that's how that works. And so that's why the Bible says, don't have sex out of wedlock. Because guess what? If you do so, there are issues that arise that undermine the family. And if you undermine the family, you undermine the nation and you undermine its ability to sustain. So that's the sense behind sin. See, when we say sin, we oftentimes confuse, sin, I'm not religious. No, sin has an actual meaning. And when you dig down into it, each one of those sins that are outlined in the Bible actually have a real life application and usually has something to do with the protection and the sanctity of society. So let's say you got a P. Diddy. You got a P. Diddy, and every year or so he has a freak party. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. Somebody, and look, if you guys who don't know, only members can comment. Only members can comment. So you got to become a member. I need another 15 more super chats or memberships. Come on, make it happen. Okay? Somebody type freaks and weirdos. Somebody type freaks and weirdos in the chat room. So what do you think is going to happen to these freaks and weirdos? What do you see happening to them right now? Look at the Russell Simmons. This man can't even come back to the United States. This man's life is being torn apart. His daughters don't respect him. That woman that he was married to doesn't respect him. Look at Bill Cosby. And even though Bill Cosby was innocent of a crime, he still was living a freaky, weird lifestyle. He was having sex with women outside of his marriage. I want y'all to hear me. And that's why I tell you brothers all the time, don't cheat on your wives. Don't cheat on your girlfriends. Because that sort of sin, that sort of transgression will eventually invite destruction into your life. And you see it playing out. My passport bro brothers, y'all over there having sex with prostitutes. Let's just keep it 100. Yeah, you getting your rocks off, you having a good time, but it's diseases over there. It's unwanted pregnancies over there. You're opening yourself up to women who are not good women to be with. So you're inviting destruction into your life, brothers. Listen to me. I love you, and I'm telling you the truth. You're inviting destruction in your life. I know you like going down there to Brazil and hanging out. I know you do. Going down to them thermals, spending your ass all day in them goddamn thermals with them fine Brazilian women with the bikinis on. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You're having a good time with them fine. And for you brothers here in the United States, some of y'all going to the strip club right now. You on your way to the strip club right now. And if you're not going tonight, you're going sometime soon to the strip club. And I know what you're doing in there. Did you go to $2 Tuesday? Huh? Somebody type $2 Tuesday in the chat room before y'all start passing judgment on these passport bros. And for the rest of you cats, watching porn. You watching porn and you got as much baby oil in your closet as P. Diddy had in his. There's a reason why the Bible tells you not to masturbate. Because when you do that, it causes for you, number one, for you to lose drive and testosterone and so on and so forth. And that drive and testosterone is what pushes you forward. It's what makes you aggressive. It's what makes you succeed. It's what makes you want to be a champion. And if you are constantly around there letting one out, you lose a certain amount of drive. And that's why the Bible tells you not to do that. That's why that's called a sin. There's reasons behind that. And when you really begin to break down that good book, and I did so in my books. And if you guys want to get a copy of my books, you can email me at sperlingdennis@gmail.com. I have about 8 left, 8 books, 8 sets left. My email address is at the bottom on the screen. Okay? If you want a book, go ahead and do it. But again, you gotta cut that life out. You gotta live. You want to live. And I'm not being preachy. I love y'all. Okay? And I done showed y'all my debauchery. I done showed y'all me out there being debaucherous. Y'all know that, right? I just showed y'all for that reason. But and so I'm not here to pass judgment on you. I'm just telling you, you have to elevate. Somebody type elevate in the chat room. Where my members at? I need 15 more super chats. Where my members at? Huh? Where my members at? You can get the books, all 3 of the books for $100. Where my members at? You got to elevate. You can't live in that debaucherous pit for the rest of your life. You have got to uplift yourself, fellas. You got to take yourself out of that desire to satisfy those needs of the lower self and get to your higher self. When Jesus rode into when he rode into town on a donkey, it was a signal that he had conquered his higher self. And so as he rode into town before his crucifixion, he had conquered. Him riding in on the donkey symbolized him conquering the beast within, that lower self. And that's what you have to do as a man. You can't be boys for the rest of your life, running after this skirt and that skirt. You got to get it out of your system. At some point, you got to grow up. You got to be men. You have to master your lower self, master your desires, and move forth in the direction that the Most High wants you to be. P. Diddy never did that. He got rich, and instead of being generous, he exploited people. Instead of being humble, he was arrogant. And now he's just another Hollywood weirdo who's been exposed. And all his friends are exposed. Somebody type Diddler in the chat room. Somebody type Diddler in the chat room. Everybody who was diddlating with the diddler, all of them are now being exposed. They have photographs. They can't get away from it. And I mean, if any of the things that he says is true, I mean, somebody type Justin Bieber in the chat room. If any of these allegations about what Sean P. Diddy Combs did are true, that's horrible. But again, some of the stuff was legal, some of it wasn't legal. Shout out to my man Jamal Smith. Shout out to the DMV. I need 14 more super chats. Some of the things he did was legal, some were illegal. But they were all immoral. And just because something is legal doesn't mean it's not immoral. And the universe operates more so on a moral law. If you out here being immoral, you out here paying prostitutes, you hanging out at the strip club, tricking your money off on 304s. If you out there living a debaucherous lifestyle, then you have to recognize that you're inviting destruction. Look what we've done to the United States. We've opened ourselves, we've become so open-minded that our brains have fallen out. Shout out to Mercer Panama. We've become so open-minded that our brains have fallen out. We are now in some states trying to convince our children that the anatomy that they are born with does not determine what their sex is. Because we've become so open-minded that our brains have fallen out. And so now many of our children think that it is perfectly acceptable for them to sit on a doctor's table and allow that doctor to remove what was naturally given to them through biology. That's what happens when you begin to invite destruction into your life, into your country. And so whether you want to accept these teachings from our Bibles and our Qurans and these other books or not, you have to recognize that the laws of the universe remain constant and sin invites destruction. You want to know what's wrong with America? The main thing wrong with America right now has been the decline in morality. More importantly, the main thing wrong with Black America right now has been our decline in our morality. We have become an immoral people. Look, the stuff Diddy did, that wasn't some black folks is doing, was it? You barely heard about a black man being a member of a rainbow coalition in the 1980s and 90s. We knew it existed. There was always that black cheerleader dude at the high school. There was always him, but it wasn't as rampant as it is now. That was, and I hate to say this, but that was white people mess, wasn't it? That was some stuff white folk did. But we have integrated ourselves, haven't we? Haven't we? We've integrated ourselves into this society and its immorality. And we as black people, as an original people, are going to go down in flames right with the rest of the immoral people. We have got to get back to morality. We always talk about how we are the mothers and fathers of civilization. Don't we say that, black men? We always say we the kings and queens. Somebody type kings and queens in the chat room. Somebody type mothers and fathers of humanity. That's right, right? But we're not acting like the mothers and fathers of humanity. We're not leading, are we? We're not leading, are we? We're not setting an example for the rest of the children on earth, at least not over here in the good old US of A. We are as debaucherous as everybody else. There was a time when black folks were the people who attended the church the most. And that coincided with black folks being the most married group of people in the country. That also coincided with the people who built the most, who built schools and towns and universities straight out of slavery. See, just like immorality invites destruction, morality and upright living invites production. And the reason that we have not been productive as we could be is because we've been living in an immoral life. I couldn't be out there being a Hall of Fame attorney if I'm still going to the DR every darn week, every month, hanging out at the villa. I wouldn't be as productive as I have been over the past 5-6 years since I cut that out. All that debauchery. Uncle D was out there being debaucherous. I wouldn't be as successful as I am now if I was still living there. Hell, might be dead. Might have 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. Maria, Paco, Josue, Enrique, Ramon, and Ramona. That's what I would have been doing. And Lord knows if I'd been doing it here in the United States, you can't do it. You see what happened to some of these men? And look at these weirdos, man. Look at all these people in their careers. And how they're taking the downfall. I need some more super chats. If you want to be successful, you've got to learn to find peace of mind and happiness. And you can't find that living a destructive lifestyle. You cannot find peace of mind and happiness if you find yourself doing all sorts of dirt and debauchery. So, nevertheless, I'm gonna go ahead and ease on up out of here. I wanted to say that. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to share my experiences with you. Fellas, part of being a high value man is not allowing yourself to succumb to your lower self, not getting caught up in sin. It's always better to be a family man. Okay? It's always better to be a family man. And when I say family man, I mean one woman, your home, your children, working hard to raise those children and putting God in the middle. And I know we got people with varying different belief systems, but the bottom line is I'm talking to you about these rules of the universe that apply. And you see it unfolding right before your eyes. It's happening right before your eyes, fellas. But either way, God bless y'all. I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing short. All right. These Hollywood weirdos are being exposed by the Diddler. You see it happening right now. These are lessons that need to be learned. You all should learn these lessons. be good men. I want you to be good men. I want to see you ball. I want to see you happy. I want to see you fulfilled. I want to see you men being the best men you can be. I don't want you to go reach to the mountaintop like somebody like Sean Combs, and then your money and your desire and your humanity, your unchecked humanity tears you down. Because that's what you see happening. This man is going to go out in a disgrace. Everything he's built over these past 3 decades is going to be destroyed because of him. Not even because of his own outside influences, because he destroyed it himself. Because of his something having nothing to do with his music. He destroyed it himself. And that is itself a tragedy. But again, sin invites destruction. I want you all to think about that and contemplate that. Shout out to all my members. If you want to comment on the page, you got to become a member. You got to become a member, because what we're not going to do, okay, what we're not going to do is allow y'all to be cheap with Uncle D. You're not going to be able to interact with me. You're putting your comments up. Either you're going to have earned a wrench, and the people that have wrenches here are people that have been with me for day one, or they contributed such a large amount of money. I said, man, I got to get this person a wrench. Other than that, it is what it is. I love you guys. God bless y'all. As I always said, this time is Uncle D, and I'm out.
Dennis Burley Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.